Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm in my man cave and I'm sitting here next to all my European mounts here, my whitetails, and I want to talk about kind of discuss not too in depth, but the process on how I whitened them. And there's three different ways that I did it. And for starters, this one here, whenever it came back from getting processed, I scun it out. I boiled the skull. This one here, same thing, but I didn't boil it. I put it up in a tree, a spruce tree, so I let it there for 6 months. I put it up there in January. In around June, I took it out, and it was pretty much like this. Okay, and the buck that I got last season, I used a different process. It's called maceration. It's where you put the skull in a bucket of water or a container of water, and as it decays, it creates bacteria, and it starts eating at the flesh. There's a channel that I watched that where he did the same thing, but he took it one step further. He took um, an aquarium heater and put that aquarium heater into the bucket, which is called warm water maceration. It should speed up the process, and I did that one to this buck that I got last season, that four pointer that I shot, or maybe 6 pointer. I don't know if that's long enough to count, but I did that, the maceration, and I put it in a bucket of water, got a aquarium heater, and I pretty much put it in around Thanksgiving, and I finally got around to doing something with it last weekend. So it's from November, and today, last week would have been the end of February 26th or something like that. Theoretically, in that other video that other channel had, everything was clean. In my process, there's flesh still, I think it might have been fat, still left in the eye socket, both eye sockets. I had to pull it out, and I ended up putting it into the water a little bit just to simmer it and get everything loose. And I power washed it off. And what I really don't care for is the process on how long it took. Um, and doing that, for some reason, everything's falling apart on this skull. It tightened up after drying, but as you can see, I don't know if you'll be able to see it or not, but right here, the skull is starting to split where the seams are. This seam right here, I was able to wiggle the skull, but after it dried, it tightened up. And part of the skull, this side of the skull, that fell off where it mirrored this side. That's gone. I had to glue the teeth in, which isn't a real big deal. It's my own skull that I've done for my own use or display, but I really don't care to do that particular process to a skull, and it to me it makes everything brittle. All right, the maceration part. We'll set this one down. I did a bear skull. I shot a bear back in 2017, and I finally got around to it about 2 years ago, and I did the maceration. But I did that, put it in a bucket of water, covered the bucket up, and set it outside and let the summer heat do what it needs to do. And if you're going to do that, this process, the maceration process, it's going to stink. I mean, that's the worst thing about this whole ordeal is the smell. It's disgusting. So that's another reason why I'm not going to do maceration anymore. But this is the bear skull that I did from my bear. It took all summer, and there's a few things that I learned along the way too, like degreasing. Okay, I didn't know anything about degreasing a skull, but you can tell how yellow this is compared to the deer skull. But like I said, it's for my own use. It's gonna sit right next to my bear mount, and as I can see here too, there's a lot of separation from the seams in the skull. So I'm and the teeth fell out also because it just works on everything. So speaking of the degreasing, I have another skull that I did. One that I found a raccoon a couple videos ago. I did a little skull whitening, but as time goes on, that ain't really white anymore. It's whatever oil from the fat from the that was on there wasn't completely removed. Like I said, I didn't know anything about degreasing, so I'm just gonna leave this. I was for my own use. So I'm just giving you my opinion, like this versus that, and I really like the boiling part of it. And what I like to do, or what I should have done, is degrease, let it sit in a bucket of soapy water. But you can tell if you don't do that, you got all kinds of yellow, fatty tissue that's still left over, and it's dry. It's not gonna stink or anything. But the people that I've done skulls for, they're I'm meticulous. If they're clean, I really pick at it, and they enjoy it. I'll put up a few pictures of some of the skulls that I've done for people. And this one here, the one that's sat up in a tree, I think is the best one, the best looking. There's no fat or yellowing. There's no separation. Everything, most of the nose is complete inside. The teeth are a little loose, but they're not going to fall out. But I would choose, if you're not in a hurry, I would choose putting it up in a tree. Let nature take its course. You may want to wrap the antlers in plastic or something just to protect the natural color from rubbing trees and things like that. So I just wanted to pass this information along in this video of what I would prefer to do as far as cleaning, whitening skulls. Like I said, this one here, the maceration, I'm not a real fan of. One, because it takes so long. Two, it stinks very bad. And three, it tends to separate the joints in the skull. So it's not it works, but I don't care for it. So if you made it this far in this video, I would appreciate if you hit that thumbs up, leave a comment, subscribe if you like it. So yeah, just my opinion on what I prefer. Like I said, I prefer that one, just letting them sit out in the elements and let nature take its course. And yeah, this display I made, I kind of went on Pinterest and kind of checked things out how they, as you can see there, little old fence posts. So this is my way of doing things for my man cave. So like I said, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, leave a comment. So I got a joke. What's the most reliable body part? Your fingers. You can always count on them. Alright. Enjoy the little things.